Okay. Hi. Right as I was about to record this, I have my handy tarot cards right here, and the wind gusted. Is that the right way to say it? The wind blew. I guess that's better. And the tarot card, the world, flipped up, and the world basically means everything you work for is coming together. It's like a wish fulfillment card: accomplishment, success, completion, perfection, recognition, mastery, optimism. I was like, is that a sign? Sure is. The best thing about signs are anything can be a sign, and you can be like, that's a sign. And 5 minutes later, something might happen and you're like, actually I don't want that as a sign. That's the best thing about signs. you could you could you could choose your own sign, you know? Like, take the signs you think you deserve. Speaking of signs, does anyone remember that movie with Mel Gibson, Signs? I weirdly was obsessed with that movie. I don't know why. It was eerie. And Aliens, I will say, the scariest movie I've ever seen that still scares me today is Jeepers Creepers. Even saying that name, I'm like, shit, he's gonna get me. But aliens really freak me out because I don't believe in them. I just think aliens are us from the future, and they're probably needing our DNA because they're pale and they don't have collagen wherever they are. So they're probably like, we need to go to 2025 because everyone is like hot and taking their supplements and on Ozempic. So we need that DNA. So yeah, it's like I'm really not afraid of aliens, but for some reason, like, any type of like alien movie like does freak me out. War of the Worlds. Love that movie with Tom Cruise. Another nut job. But yeah, I don't really watch TV. I rewatch the same shows over and over again. Mad Men and Supernatural, which is like a really old CW show, but it had 25 seasons, and I like the fantasy genre. Game of Thrones, loved it. The Witcher, loved it. The Magicians, loved it. Anything that's like fantasy, I'm into. And Mad Men, obviously, because the writing is like amazing. So yeah, you really can choose any sign that you want. But speaking of signs, as I was setting up to record, this is why I need to record on Fridays, because I had recorded on a Tuesday and the sound completely didn't work. So I had to scrap the episode. It's just, you can't hear anything. It's just me talking. But as I'm setting up to record, I saw a hummingbird. And if you paid attention last week when I was recording, if you listened, paid attention, that was like a little aggressive. But if you listened last week, I saw a hummingbird. So a hummingbird is definitely my sign. I was like, oh my God, hi. Also, I've been seeing monarch butterflies everywhere. And monarch butterflies to me represent my friend who had passed away, Angela. So every time I see a monarch, I go, Angela. And I was walking to Whole Foods, and I tend to see butterflies in parking lots. I don't know why. It's like my parking lot butterfly. I'm like, what are you doing here, Angela? But I'm walking to Whole Foods the other day, and a huge monarch butterfly, just like, you know, butterflies, like they just kind of fly like silly, dopey butterflies. It sort of flew like into me. And I was like, oh my God, hi, Angela. And then I was walking and I realized that there was someone like behind me. I was like, oh, they don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I would say lately the signs that I've been seeing have been butterflies, monarchs, specifically like jumbo ones, the big ones, hummingbirds, which kind of rare, kind of cool. 333, just like repeating numbers. And yeah, and now with this world card saying that I'm about to have wish fulfillment, I'm like, podcast sponsorship, Barstool. Giggly Squad, you looking to bring on anyone else on your network? No, but I'm in no rush with anything. I just am working on listening to my own advice and moving to my rhythm and taking it slow and steady and wins the race. For example, I was going to record a little bit earlier and I was sitting in a different spot. And I was looking a little crusty. I didn't really get myself ready, and I was just like, I have to record, need to get the episode out. And I'm sitting there like looking at myself in the camera and I'm like, oh God. You know when you just like, will look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, is that what I look like? I'm like, you know what? Again, listen, bird, I'm talking. But I'm like, I'm my own boss. There's no deadline for this. I can go take a quick body shower, put a little makeup on, put my fun Mrs. Tommy Bahama shirt on, and look a little cute, look a little hot for Friday's episode. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And honestly, sometimes I wish I can bring you guys in the shower with me. I flow. I have great bits. Things land. Maybe that would be a good OnlyFans idea to somehow, obviously no one's seeing my body. Like, sorry, I can't get behind that. I'm too insecure, obviously. But what if I just like brought you guys in the shower with me and I did the podcast in the shower? Because I will say something about like being by the water, in the water. It's like, it fuels my creativity. So in a way, it was good that I did that because I had some clarity. I grounded myself. And most importantly, I looked way better now than I did before, because before was like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is a podcast. This is a corporate podcast. No, it's actually not a corporate podcast. But yeah, take your time, slow it down. That is really something that I need to work on. But yeah, I haven't had a one-on-one in a really long time because as an ex-corporate dropout who now works for her dad, it's not forever, it's temporary. I'm in a liminal space. But I haven't had a one-on-one in forever. And I hate one-on-ones. Anytime I had a manager who had to cancel or move a one-on-one, I was like, thank you. The last thing I want to do is stare at my screen for an hour and talk about my 10 bullets of things that I'm working on that I'm probably just going to save for the last minute to do. I hate a one-on-one. But I thought about that. I'm like, wow, you haven't had a one-on-one in literally forever. A team meeting? Like, what? And then I said, wait a second. I basically have one-on-ones with myself. No, I'm serious. Like, my whole life is my subconscious just going like, and having like a one-on-one with myself. I'm like always giving myself feedback. When I first went to go record the podcast, I literally was in like a t-shirt. I had a baseball cap on. I hadn't even showered after the gym. And I was just like, I need to record. I need to get the podcast episode up. And then I'm like recording and I'm looking at myself and I thought, no, you actually don't. Like you can take a body shower. You can put some makeup on. You can put your Tommy Bahama shirt on and feel like a fun uncle in this shirt. But so I'm like in the shower. A body shower literally always puts me where I need to be. Body shower meaning like I'm not getting my hair wet. I washed my hair last night. Anyway, but a body shower always just resets my energy. And I was like, Kara, again, this is a passion project. This is your podcast right now. Like you're having fun. You don't need to rush. So it's like I'm always having one-on-ones with myself because I'm always checking myself. And it's just like the curse of having a Gemini moon. I wasn't going to talk about astrology on this episode, but fuck it. Gemini moon is a difficult moon placement to have because you're constantly like, your thoughts are so quick. You don't really process your feelings and it's just constant. It's like the song by Mind Chatter. You know that? No, Mind Chatter, that I think that's like a music group or whatever. I don't know. It's like, that's the way I would describe my brain. It's like mind chatter all the time. So I'm like, you actually have one-on-ones with yourself every second of every day. I'm getting better at it, but like, I do give myself feedback. I'm like, how you doing? What's going on? This was the longest intro ever. What's up? I think that dog just agreed with me. Okay, I'll get going. I'll get going. What do you guys want to talk about? Okay, so this episode, I wasn't going to talk about the astrology today. I mean, I'm going to get this out, and you're not even going to. This week was supposed to be a very fateful week. So every time I went to Whole Foods, I was like, is my husband here? I was reaching for a lemon with a little bit more arch. I didn't meet my husband at Whole Foods. It's Friday the 15th. I mean, I still have 2 more days, but yeah, this week, a lot of activations with the nodes of destiny and fate and all of that. But you know what? I don't feel like talking about that right now, because sometimes when the energy is so hyped up, I tend to overthink it, and then it doesn't blow up in my face, but I miss the point of it. So I'm just going to take today, tomorrow, and Sunday to take a step back, be in my energy, and click with the energy, because it's good, and there's a little crunch. So I'm going to work with it, and you should too. Anyway, moving on. That's really all the energy astrology update for you guys today. I wanted to talk about chaos and what type of chaos are you? No, this is not a BuzzFeed quiz, although I'm sure they probably have one. But I always describe myself as soft chaos, meaning I'm late. I'm disheveled. I have 1 credit card in one bag, a license in my other bag. I can't find my keys. But I always get there. I always get where I need to be. I'm always put together, externally, but internally, but I'm trying to work on that, because it's not always fun to be running late and chaotic. But again, it's soft chaos. I used to be loud chaos, though. Do you guys want to hear a story? So yeah, I had asked a few. Oh, hummingbird! You've got to be kidding me. You've literally got to be kidding me. You literally, she's gorgeous. She's a 10. I'm telling you, this means something. And we'll come back to this episode, to this timestamp, when I saw the hummingbird, 14:44 on the clock. Oh my God, I've never seen a humming. I mean, I'm not even, if you see her, you see her. But that was crazy. She literally perched. I've never seen a hummingbird not move. I've never seen a hummingbird stay still. Wow, that came full circle. We were just talking about chaos and rushing and being still and taking it slow, and I body showered and I put makeup on, and I think that was a sign that I just need to keep on doing that. 2 things before I tell you about the chaotic story. I feel like I'm continuously learning the same lesson, and I've sort of clocked that when I was giving myself feedback, because I'm always in a one-on-one with myself. But I'm always in the same lesson, and every time I get to the lesson about taking it slow and not overthinking it and trusting your gut. Actually, I have a story, but hold on, I'm gonna write it down in my notes, because if I have time, I'll tell it. But I'm trying to not jump around too much. But today's a little bit of a jumpy episode. I don't really have an agenda. I have an agenda. I have some bullet points. I have some stories. I want to talk about chaos and get into that. The movie, what's it called? With Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, 50 First Dates. You know in 50 First Dates where they meet 10-second Tom, or is it 5-second Tom, when this guy, Tom, has a short-term memory problem, so he only remembers 5 to 10 seconds. And Adam Sandler's like, hi, nice to meet you. He's like, hi, I'm Tom. 3, 2, 1. He's like, hi, I'm Tom. And Adam Sandler was like, what? I feel like that's me when I'm continuously learning and having to revisit the same lesson that I've been trying to work on, which is taking it slow and trusting myself. And I'm 5-second Tom, because when I'm met with that lesson of take it slow, don't rush, I tell myself, remember this moment. remember, like, because I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to mess up again. I don't want to make a mistake, which is kind of setting myself up for failure because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have to relearn a lesson or work through a crunchy energy that's familiar. Like, it's not just going to go away. Like, I am someone who needs to work on being a little bit more balanced and having a better structure and not moving so fast. That's not something that I can just unlearn overnight. And I like I said, continuously met with this lesson and this theme in my life. And I'm like, don't forget about it. Don't forget about it. And then it's like, it bubbles up and it's like 10-second Tom, like, I forgot, I forgot about this. And I'm like, remember. But you know what? That's not the point, really, right? The point is just to like work on it. And over time, hopefully, it will improve. I think I'll always be a little chaotic, a little all over the place. But that's me. That's my rhythm. That's my essence. Buttoned up on the outside. Kind of like, I don't know, a little chaotic on the inside. It's like in Willy Wonka when they were, after Augustus Gloop failed and got sucked up the chocolate tube. What a weird movie, by the way. But when they went on that little ride and it was weird and it was like an acid trip. Yeah, it's like kind of moments of my internal world. It's like sometimes I'm riding on that weird ride. Flies are spies. Get away from me. Anyway, I'm trying to stay on track, but it's hard. I just want to like gab and gossip and tell you guys things. So that's chaos. That's me. What else? Love life. I think it's funny that like I will update you guys on my love life when I literally do not actively work on it. I do not have dating apps. I haven't had them in years. I don't go on dates. I just hope that I will meet a really hot person in Whole Foods, and that's that. But I'll still give you updates on it. So no, we're still vibing. And that's okay. I don't really know. Sometimes I'm like, I always teeter between the extremes of like, do I want to get married, or can I really just be like, not only single, but just like just me, like vibing for the rest of my life. I don't know. We'll see. But haven't met anyone at Whole Foods. I'll keep you posted though, because today I'm supposed to meet my soulmate, so jury's out. Remember, I did pull the world card. I have the world in my hand. What else? I mean, remember I talked about a few episodes ago, like this was early. This is probably like April, about someone in my energy. I don't really know. I don't know. Like, it's like they aren't. I'm like, I don't get your vibe. I do get your vibe. But when you like you're into someone's energy and you're vibing, and then like they do something and the energy shifts and you're like, what the fuck? We're done. I love those moments. I feel like I had that a few times recently. So I'm just like, we're done. And then 3 days later, something will happen that's good. And I'm like, we're back on. Were you scared? I was scared. But at this point, like I said, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I'm vibing, just like being single, I am. Like, super single, but like loving it. I don't know. If you're super single out there and you're not loving it, let's talk. I'll make you love it. I'll twist your arm. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my love life. Although, I was at a cafe working, and this was on a very, like, Wednesday apparently had really good energy. And I was sitting at a cafe wanting to work and get stuff done. And this guy makes a comment because I always bring a crystal with me when I work. And he was like, is that a paperweight? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a crystal. And then he proceeds to talk to me for like 35 minutes. And I'm like, dude, I've already had a coffee. I need to get working. Otherwise, that caffeine's going to wear off. I don't feel like buying another $14 coffee. Stop talking to me. He's telling me about the lobster roll that he has. He's telling me about how he pays it forward, how he pays for people's coffees, how he cries a lot. And I'm like, it's, I love stories and I love chatting with people, but there's some times where I'm like, I actually don't want to talk to you right now. I actually really want to do my work. And that completely derailed me. And he probably was talking to me for like a good 45 minutes. And he was he was doing all the talking. I'm just sitting there like, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. And like, I had just sat down too at the cafe, so I'm not even like set up. So it's like kind of like, I feel like I just got to school and I'm waiting outside, like, let me in. I'm like, I want to like get my bag off my shoulder, dude. And then, of course, I'm like, are you a Leo? I think I was like, you're definitely a fire sign, or you're an Aries or something chatty, because there's no way there's no way like a Pisces man would do this. But anyway, yeah, 45 minutes. And I was like, okay. He's like, yeah. And I thought maybe he would be like, what's your number? Or not that I want to give it to him. I wasn't like attracted to him. I did not have a soul click with him. But I figured like, okay, I'm talking to you for 45 minutes with my backpack on, not even settled in. And you're not even going to ask for my fucking number? I'm like, what was the point of that? Not me being butthurt over someone I don't even like, didn't even think was cute, not asking me for my number. I'm like, okay, Kara, like, fuck off. But no, I'm just kidding. But I'm like, and then I went inside to get another coffee because I was like, I needed caffeine. And this girl was like, did you know that guy? And I said, no, I didn't. And she said, yeah, sometimes I see him around town. He's a lot. I felt really bad for you. And I was like, well, thank you. I'm like, you could have saved me. You could have said, hey, girl, I haven't seen you in forever. No, she just let me talk to this man for 45 minutes. And I didn't even... And then, yeah. Anyway. Okay, do you guys want to hear the chaos story? I think I've made you wait long enough. So, I've had a million jobs. And when I say a million jobs, I've had like a colorful corporate experience. And I started off at Wenner Media, which had 3 brands underneath it: Men's Journal, Rolling Stone, and Us Weekly. I started off as an editorial assistant at Rolling Stone. Loved it. Obviously, they did not have any staff writing jobs open, and literally, I feel like this is what caused my entire corporate journey. I really wanted to stay on the editorial side. Like, I wanted to be a writer. And there was, I did not have a lot of confidence. Obviously, it's like I'm 22, right? Is that how? Yeah, I was about 22 or 23. I had no confidence. I was freshly graduated. Like, I didn't do a ton of writing. I just had like a Tumblr blog called Finding Nirvana and Bill Murray. Okay. I had that in college. So it's like sometimes I'm like, I wonder if anyone's surprised that I had this interest in astrology and like energy and the woo-woo. And I'm like, well, you also had that blog called Finding Nirvana and Bill Murray, and it was extremely reflective. But again, it's like, you don't know really. I didn't really like know a lot about myself when I was 20 or 21. Like, I think I did. I just didn't trust myself as much as I do now. I mean, I'm still meeting that lesson, as we know. I'm still having my one-on-ones, but not as I've learned a lot, let's say, since college. I hated college, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, I did not have a ton of confidence to apply to other magazines. We still call them magazines because I worked in print back then in 2015, 2016. I didn't have a lot of confidence or experience to work at another magazine. So there was a sales assistant job that opened up at Men's Journal, and I applied for it and I got it. And I was a little bit bummed because I did not want to go over to the business side. I really wanted to stay on the creative side because that's where I was happiest. I just had no confidence and I did not have a background in it. So I felt like I couldn't do it because, again, when you're 23 years old, you think that, oh, I have this degree, I have to do that. And it's like, no, you actually don't. But again, that's life. So I started as a sales assistant, and I feel like my intuition was right, and I'm like, I know I'm not going to be a great sales assistant. Like, I have soft chaos. I have number dyslexia. Like, I flip numbers all the time. There's no way I'm going to be able to like book, travel and have to and do numbers and be super organized. Like, I'm either all in or all out with organization. I'm either super organized or not organized. Like, again, balance has been a lesson that I've had to learn and work at. Organization, yes. But being a sales assistant, like, you had to be really buttoned up because I supported the publisher and all of the sales reps, me. And I was like, and I also feel like I did not have a lot of confidence in myself, and I was really hard on myself. So anytime I made a mistake, it was like the end of the world, where it's like, it's not a big deal, Kara. Like, although one time I did mess up, and every holiday we would send our clients gifts, like the good ones, not the good ones, but like, I don't know, like we work with like a lot of watch brands. So we would send like the CMO and all of the higher ups at some of these brands like a little gift. And I was responsible for printing out the letters with the person's name, printing out their mailers, putting a magazine in the gift in like a box and sending them all out. It was about 150 of them, and it was just me. And as we know, like, I'm soft chaos. I messed up and I put the wrong mailer with the wrong letter, so I had to stay in the city until like 9:30 at night, and I had to redo all of them. I was like crying, and then I had to take like a 10 o'clock train home to Jersey, and I'm a 2 hour train ride because I have to go through all of this like the Jersey Shore stops. So I get home at like 1 a.m. and then I have to wake up at 5 to go back to the city for my job. So it's like shit like that would happen to me all the time, and it's not like, I was organized. I had all my letters, I had the mailers, but that super finite attention to detail with that type of thing, like, it just doesn't, I just wasn't great at it. I remember I had to do travel for my boss, and I fucked up his flight dates. I had him coming back from Cuba on like, he was supposed to come back on like a Wednesday, and I had his I had his return flight on like a Sunday. And I remember I like blamed it on the travel agent, and I flipped the dates because I would like flip numbers a lot of the times. And I remember he calls me up on like and being like, I need to leave. Like, I need you to figure this out now. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I wound up getting him home. And then he was like, I don't even want to talk about him, but not a great energy. Let's just say that. He gave me a gift for all the stress that he caused, which I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was the one that booked you on the wrong flight. But that's not even the story. That's just some of the highlights as being a editorial sales assistant. The thing about me, though, if I'm on your team, which I probably won't be on your team because unless I get signed by like a podcast brand or a media brand, I'm like, I'm not going corporate. Okay, it's like not happening. But what was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, if I'm a great hire, though. I'm a great, like, here's me like pitching myself. I'm like, I'm a great team player. No, you want to feel good about yourself. You want to feel gassed up. You want to feel like the top dog. I'll let you. I really don't care. I feel like I'm like the corporate morale. I'm the personality hire who's smart, but people will totally misjudge that and think I'm just like this one guy I used to casually see. He would be like, you're just like a hot girl. Like, you shouldn't be stressed about work. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know how to use Excel. Like, so stressed out about that. And he was just like, you're just like a hot girl. Like, get over it. I'm like, what? Like, I'm more than that. But yeah, I mean, truly, I'm great to have on a team because, like, I like to talk. I love good coworker. Like, I do miss that. Like, I do miss that camaraderie of like fun coworkers and joking. And I have to say, yeah, it's like it's an ego. It's a boost to my ego when someone laughs at like a joke or something I say. Yes, like, that's, if you say like, oh, like, you're pretty, you're hot, I'm like, no, that does nothing for me. You laugh at a joke, I'm like, when are we getting married? I'm like, oh, maybe I don't want to be single forever. But truly, because I love humor, obviously, wit. Like, who doesn't? I feel like everyone these days is like a comedian. I'm definitely not a comedian. Comedians take themselves like way too seriously. I do take myself seriously, but like, do you know what I mean with comedians? I don't know. I'm not even gonna go there. Probably get me like canceled. But honestly, all press is good press. So here's the chaos story, and then I'm gonna go because like, I'll get into it in a little bit. So this is when I was like really in my chaotic energy. We had a national sales meeting, and I was responsible for setting it all up. I did a good job. I did. Actually, I did work with the editorial assistant, and he did most of it. I just kind of showed up or didn't show up. So basically what happened was we flew out everyone from the other offices to New York, and we would have a day of like meetings and then a dinner, and then the next day an activity. And since I worked at a men's magazine, which was all about being like the rugged, refined, outdoorsy man, kind of like hot dads who are active in a way. Not just dads, but you know what I mean. We would do an activity. So the activity scheduled for Friday, the dinner was Thursday, was skeet shooting in like upstate New York. At this point, I was living in Manhattan. And we had the dinner, and I was sitting next to a sales rep, and she was a drinker. Like, she would take her clients out, and I would be like, you smoke? Like cigarettes? She's like, only when I'm out. You know, like she was, well, I probably have to beep out her name. I was like, blank, you smoke cigarettes? And she'd be like, only when I'm out with clients. And I'm like, okay. She was hardcore. She also had like 2 kids and would like come to work severely hungover in like a 3-piece outfit and like buttoned up. I'm like, she also sort of gave me like librarian vibes, but like hot librarian vibes. Like librarian tutors teacher vibes, if you know what I mean. Librarian, whatever, like hot librarian vibes. So she was sitting next to me at the dinner, and she was drinking a dirty martini. I'm 24 at this point, so I've never had a dirty martini. I've only had cheap vodka sodas in the city and a pickleback shot. I feel like that's what we did a lot, like pickleback shots. All those bars on the Lower East Side. Oh my God. So I was like, Danica, I was like, what is that? She's like, it's a dirty martini. Do you want one? And I was like, do I want one? And one of the other sales rep, he was 2 years older than me, he was like, yeah. He's like, you should get one. And I think he might have said, be careful, because I think I said like I never had one, and I was like the baby, you know, the young one, the one that they expect to have too many martinis and black out. So I had, and it was a lychee martini, it wasn't a dirty martini. So I had one. I'm like, this is so good. And then I have another one. And then I have another one. And then I'm like taking pictures with everyone. I'm going over to the editorial staff who like always intimidated me. Like, you work, you know, if you know, you know, if you've ever worked on the editorial side at any major media brand, you're like, hey. I had to go to Condé Nast once, and I was like, get me out of here. Awful energy. But I was like vibing with the editorial staff. I was taking pictures. I was like, I love the lychee martinis. Eventually, my coworker was like, we gotta go. He's like, we have to be at work at like 7:30 in the morning to take a little bus to upstate New York to go skeet shooting. So he's like, Kara, it's time to go. He did eventually fuck me over. We don't need to get there right now, but in that moment I was sort of appreciative that he said, like, you know, like, cut it out, like, knock it off, no more drinking, it's time to go. So we get in a cab, and I decide to drunk text this kid that I was like obsessed with. And then I lost my phone outside my apartment complex. The doorman got it for me. So I went up, and I didn't have, okay, so yeah, the doorman had my phone. I go upstairs, I go to bed, I wake up. I'm supposed to be in Midtown at my office at 7:30. I wake up at 7:30. I'm like, where's my phone? I rushed downstairs because something like pinged in me of like, I think the doorman has it. In my drunken stupor, I I think I clocked him saying like, I have your phone, and I was in the elevator. I was like, see you later, Larry. You know what I mean? Like, so I went downstairs. I got my phone. I had like 25 missed calls from my coworkers. They're like, "Are you coming? Are you okay? Where are you? We're leaving." And I'm like, I live pretty close to Midtown, so I was like, I can be there literally, and give me 15 minutes. I was like putting my makeup in a bag. I was getting clothes. I'm like, tell my boss, who was such a douchebag. I was like, just tell him to wait like 5 minutes. And like my coworker was like, we are, but he's like adamant on leaving you. And I'm like, he would play like mind games. Like, he was the worst. He was the worst. Like, I know I was like a sales assistant and I definitely made mistakes, but he was not great. Anyway, so he's not going to wait for you. And my other coworker, who I really respected, and she taught me a lot and was a great like mentor to me, she had texted me. She was like, I would try to get here. She's like, any way that you can, get here. She's like, he will respect you if you can get here. Because like obviously he knew that you were hungover and drunk and like missed the bus. And I said, okay. I pull up an Uber to my phone. She gives me the address. It was a $300 Uber. I'm still drunk at this point, and I'm so hungover, and I'm so like shit. I said, okay, Uber. I had 5 minutes before the Uber came. I took my makeup. I grabbed an outfit. I grabbed a hair tie, a hairbrush, a toothbrush. I took a little hit off my bowl. By a little hit, a huge hit off my bowl, because I was like, I smoked. But this is also 7:30 in the morning, but I was just like so hungover, and I was like 24 and chaos. Like, this was not soft chaos. This was like hard chaos. And I got in the Uber, and I said to the Uber, when we are 30 minutes outside of the skeet shooting place, can you wake me up and like pull into a 7-Eleven? He said, okay. I got into the Uber, and he pulled over. I felt like he was giving me like Russian spy, sort of like, I don't know. It was kind of hot, but I fell asleep. Taps me on my shoulder, like, miss, like, we're 30 minutes out. Like, there's a rest stop coming up. I said, okay. So he goes to a 7-Eleven, and I go inside the 7-Eleven. This next part, I don't know what compelled me to do this. I got a tuna sandwich and Doritos and a Gatorade, and I sat in his car. What an asshole I am. I sat in his car eating a 7-Eleven tuna sandwich with Doritos and a Gatorade, and I'm putting my makeup on with like my sandwich hands. Hard chaos. And he didn't give a shit. I'm like, I love this man. Like, I felt like if I needed to bury a body, like, this guy would be like, okay, you need anything, call this Uber driver. So I get to the skeet shooting place, and I was sort of like sad leaving my Russian spy Uber driver. I was like, don't leave me, Sven. And he leaves. I'm like, pray for me. And my boss ignored me the entire time. And I was being taught how to shoot a gun at like 10 in the morning with the taste of 7-Eleven tuna fish in my mouth, makeup from last night, new makeup on, an outfit that looked insane. My hair was a rat's nest. I'm definitely not drunk, but like sleepy and hungover from smoking. And yeah, and then for an hour and a half, I had a skeet shoot. And I remember when he handed me the gun, I've never held a gun before. I like shook and I dropped it. I was like, get me home. I should not be here, but I got there. It was like an hour and a half Uber ride. And my boss ignored me the entire time. Everyone was like very impressed that I was there. I'm like, I'm impressed too. Thanks, I did it myself. This whole chaotic situation was myself. I was like, you know what? I blame Danica. I was like, I'm 24. It's not above me to not take full accountability. Now I'm like, no, like you messed up. But I was like, you know, Danica should have never given me those lychee martinis. It's like, yeah, but you should have had like 5, Kara. I'm 24. I'm a Scorpio. But I did apologize. I did get back. I apologized to my boss when I made the shuttle back. I did not take an Uber back. Although he joked. He's like, I'm going to make you take an Uber back. I'm like, do you want to pay for it? My Uber actually was $500 because there was a surcharge. And I didn't see it because I was hungover, because I had 5 lychee martinis, because I was chaotic. So, yeah, I did basically say I never took that Uber. Because my dad had called me up because we had a family Uber account. And he was like, guys, he was like, I think my card got hacked. Someone took a $500 Uber in upstate New York. And I was like, ugh, who would have done that? I go, that is so fucked up. Exactly. Hard chaos. And guess what? I have more of those stories for you. That's why I feel like I'm so into energy and being grounded and like working with my chaotic energy, because I have had some chaotic moments. I have had to live it to learn it. And I'm okay with that. I really, really am. But I think just remembering and reminding myself, 10-second Tom, to take it slow, move at my own rhythm, move at my own pace, and not get so upset at myself when I find myself in a lesson of like, you should have just moved a little bit slower here. You shouldn't have been so, what's the word I'm looking for? Impulsive. Because, yeah, impulsivity. Also still learning like that. When to be impulsive, when to not. Like, is it anxious impulsive? Is it excited impulsive? Like, when to act, when to not. Like, sometimes because my Gemini moon has me overthinking literally everything. I'm like, what am I doing? Should I do it? Should I not? Should I act? I don't know. So you know what? I just flow. Like this episode, it's like I'm just flowing. I'm not editing it. I'm just going to flow, upload it. And we're going to just keep doing this on Friday, because I saw a hummingbird today. I saw a hummingbird last Friday. I was driving after I got a coffee, which I didn't drink. And I was like, should I do an episode today? Immediately a red cardinal flies across my car. And I'm like, Grandpa. But no, truly. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to listen to these signs. And I feel like that will lead me to podcast sponsorship, because that's what I would love everyone to manifest for me and like send me good energy. And I have all my protections up. So if you send me bad energy, it's sort of like it bounces off me and it goes back to you, because I'm in a Tommy Bahama shirt and this is nothing but good energy. This is like my shield. This is like white light. So yeah, that's really all I have for you today. I Papi. I saw a license plate today that said I Papi. I saw a license plate the other day that said Karen, but it was Kaarin. So it was like, Karen. Ever see Goodfellas? Karen. Wake up, Henry. Such a good movie. And then after Karen, I saw Will as a license plate. I'm like, oh my God, Karen and Will. The cars are like dating. The kids are fighting. The cars are dating. I've been seeing some really funny license plates too. I saw Daddy 25. I was like, I love that. Karen. I saw Will. I saw, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna bore you with them, but I think that's what I have for you today. Like, just some stories reminiscing on being a sales assistant, being horrible at my job, but trying. I'm always gonna try, you know? Also, you know what this shirt is giving? I kind of feel like I'm auditioning for like Blue Crush 3. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go get ready for this weekend, because we're having a big barbecue birthday party for my brother, the creative director. We're going to make ribs and like coleslaw and pasta salad and just have like a summer BBQ, which I'm excited about. I love food. I love cooking. And that's what I'm going to do this weekend. And maybe I'll meet my husband at Whole Foods. I'll probably have 17 more one-on-ones. And stay away from lychee martinis, okay? All right. Love you guys.